For example, in the early to mid-90s, New York City subway trains carried a housing and urban development advertisement addressing the issue of discrimination against Latinos. It indicated in terms of obtaining mortgages, Latinos were greatly discriminated against, and some da-da-da-da-da. Anyways, this whole passage is about, you know, that discrimination and trying, having this campaign advertising that they can get legal help against.
So you were wondering if this was
if it's new or
if that
not.
law at
Yeah,
the time
at
was
the
new?
time.
I don't think so. I think that must have been around with Title VII. I mean, I think it must have been civil rights, part of the Civil Rights Act.
But
and
not
then,
enforced.
Right, and you know, research studies like this take time to come out, right? So if this study was done by National Council of Raza and published in '92, we can assume that they were doing the research then in the '80s, right? And Title VII or Civil Rights was in the '60s. So it wasn't that, yeah, they're still, and I think that that's what people realize in general with civil rights, that just changing the law is not enough. You have to change the culture too, and that takes time. So that's my impression with that. The experience of discrimination here, she makes it pretty clear from this study, was really what was the experience of discrimination for Puerto Ricans in finding homes? What there are characteristics that added to the discrimination. So those who were discriminated exhibited certain characteristics.
I think basically the more Puerto Rican you looked or sounded, obviously the more discriminated you'd be.
Well, what does it mean to be Puerto Rican? What does it mean to look
or
or sound?
Hispanic?
Okay.
Yeah. But it's almost like it's a stereotype when you're used to a specific Hispanic group, you label all Hispanics this group. So anyone who spoke Spanish, Puerto Rican for argument's sake. But if you had a Spanish accent, then you were more likely to be discriminated against. If you were darker skinned and spoke Spanish, you were more likely to be discriminated against if you were darker skinned, period.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
but just those are the layers. And then it was interesting how, coincidentally, the women are becoming, there's more single families or single mother households, and so you have single mother who's making less money than the male counterpart, and then on top of that, if she's darker skinned and has a Spanish accent, then she's even at a more disfortunate state, which leads to the whole sub-family category, which
yeah, but that's basically right. It's what's predictable, I think. Yeah. Right, darker skin and with an accent. Those are the people that are going to be more discriminated against within the Puerto Rican community.